Hey everyone, welcome to PopXP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the PopXP channel.
Hey everybody, Billy Tucci here. That wasn't our super exciting intro with all the cool jazz bells and whistles that Niall Scala put together, but this is the Brofessionals, and we're going to take it easy tonight and have some fun. So I'd like to introduce our guests. First of all, we have the man, the myth, the bold, and the bodacious. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only. Well, first of all, I'm teen sensation Bill Tucci, and today on the Bodacious on the Brofessionals, we're going to talk about meeting your idols. If it's a good thing or a bad thing, and you're going to learn some stories that we have all met some awesome people, and some of us might have met some dickheads. So let me go with our first guest, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the bald and the bodacious, Mr. Andy Smith. What up?
Hello.
Holy
Hello,
shit.
everyone.
Hang on, we're going to go through this real quick. Next, of course, is the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Biggie G, Ram Nolan.
Sláinte.
What's happening, Sluts? Nice. Salute. All right. Now we have the tallest man in the in comics, or one of the most handsome men, most talented, but also one of the gimpiest. Your friend of mine, the cripple, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gimpy Lapresti. What's up, bro?
Hey, the only person taller than me is Mark Silvestri, I think.
I think so. Well, I want to hurry up with this because we got a very, very special guest right now. So coming down from the Lone Star State, the one, the only, Mr. Art Thibert. What's up, buddy? What's happening?
Hey, guys.
Are you drinking a Lone Star? Salute.
Killer show today.
Killer show. Honey, get me a beer. All right. Guys, I got something real special. That's why I was kind of rushing through this, because we have from his deathbed someone that came in, one of the original Brofessionals. We didn't put Niall Scala had originally put him on our promo, but I didn't want to do it because I'm like, what if he's in there? He just had surgery. But my gosh, everybody, look who it is. Fragga Boom!
The man, the myth, the legend. Look at that.
What's happening, Jim?
In the hospital bed.
Dude, what?
How are you?
That dude is a gamer. He's a
How are
gamer.
you feeling,
Brofessionals for life, baby.
Brofessionals for life.
This one's for you, Dan.
Thank you.
Salute, Dan. Salute, Dan Fragga. And speaking of meeting your heroes, I got to tell you, buddy, you're a hero in my eyes.
That's right.
Dan's the hero of the evening for sure.
Anybody that survived kidney stones
Yeah,
in a
placeholder
year.
right there saying he's faking it.
Yeah, you want to
Let's go there. We're
trade
saying prayers for you. God is watching over you, Dan. I'm sure you know that.
Thank you.
It's from Billy Basco. Of course, as always, Jim Lee is in the crowd. Is in the audience. Wait, where's Jim Lee? Where'd he go? Here he is. we got Jay Lee on. We got some great stuff going on. Emotionally exhausted is I don't know if he's saying airborne all the way or whatever, but
Okay.
look at this. People are all excited about you, Fragga. Look at this.
Well, I don't want to miss the Brofessionals, man. We're crew. I love you guys.
Dude, we love you too. How are you feeling, man?
I just got
Uh-oh.
maybe a half hour ago. So
Holy
I'm good. I'm good. I feel like I really need to pee. But you know, the stone was huge. The stone was massive, 1.6 centimeters.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's like that, and they put a camera up inside me and shot it like asteroids. You know,
Dude, that is no joke. You know, for that you deserve to be here. No offense.
Yeah,
But my God, man, you deserve the place front and center.
I'm
Now,
crossing my
nice
leg
room.
thinking of that.
I've had that done. I know what he's going through, man. That is no fun. I'm amazed you're on, dude.
I've had kidney
there's
stones, but I've never
my
had to
love.
have it blasted.
my lovely hospital room.
You got a room all by yourself?
Yeah. But my wife is coming to pick me up, which is good.
Pick you up.
Yeah, she's picking me up. I'm not having to do overnight, thank goodness. But
Oh, great. That's good
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the last stone I had, I had to pass it because it was only 5 millimeters. But this one, 16 millimeters is bigger than it's as big as a dime, right? Like,
Oh,
Golly.
Caveman stuff. That's amazingly huge.
Yeah.
You couldn't piss that out through that giant hose?
No, man, no.
Dude, well, when you're hung and slung like Fragaboom, man.
Hey, why do you
guys
think
are
he's called
silly.
Fragaboom?
Yeah.
Dan would be pissing dimes.
But no, I wanted to say what's up, and if you guys are still going, when I get home, I'll try to come on via the cam. But
Dude,
I didn't want to miss
sweat
an
it.
episode. I did not want to miss an episode. You guys are
I
awesome.
think you have a good reason.
You
Dan
are
Frack
locked
warrior
in.
mode.
You are locked in.
Yeah. Well, you
I
guys
just
are
had-
awesome.
Last week, I had
Yeah. Well,
nothing.
you had your thing. How's your rotator cuff, man?
Went really, really smoothly. So I very pleased. They had to do the least amount of work that they thought they were going to have to. So hopefully that
Yeah.
means an extra speedy recovery.
Well, that would be good. We need to see you back up and drawing again. You're so damn good.
Yeah.
I'm doing a show tomorrow left-handed. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
You'll kill it.
That's because when they
You
cut
gotta
open
do
Aaron,
it
they
for
said,
that.
"Man, there's no muscle in here."
Hold on a second. I gotta answer. No, I'm good. That was plenty. What? Oh, that. Yeah, I will need more then. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, give him more morphine. More
Water is
morphine.
good. Thank you. No, she's actually wanting to give me a Percocet, so I'm like,
Nice.
yeah,
She hot?
I'll take it.
Load him up.
Billy, I can't. I don't see that anymore. I have my little Puerto Rican lady friend, my
There
wife.
you go, buddy. Yeah, you got a beautiful wife. You're a very lucky man, as are we
She's
all.
all right. She's
right.
she's my tattoo on my arm. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah.
Hang on. I want to see that. Hang on a second. Let me make that. Let's go big on that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I
You
drew
are
that.
super lucky. And she looks like that. That is her, too.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. That's my lady. So yeah, and she'd kill me if I did anything stupid. So I want to live.
Yeah, she's got that Puerto Rican blood in her, man.
Yeah.
She'd mess you up. All right, brother. Well, listen, why don't we let you go so you can drift off
Yeah.
into Neverland?
Yeah,
And,
I love you guys, man. I didn't want to miss the Brofessional. So you guys have a great show. And I'll hit you up. Like I said, I'll try when I get home. But you guys are the best.
All
You're
right,
the
man.
best,
you guys.
man. You're the best.
Love you too, man. Rest
You're
up,
the best.
brother.
Take
All right,
care,
take
brother.
it easy. All right, see you guys. Bye.
Feel
See
better.
that, man?
Yeah, man.
Talk about meeting one of your heroes.
Right?
Right.
That guy is a hero, man.
Yeah.
Did
We
you
just
feel
met
the
him.
testosterone going through this room at that point?
There's a
That's
lot
a
of
man's man right there.
smoking hot nurse.
Right?
Right in there. He's got his beautiful wife on his arm tattooed, and she is a hottie.
Right?
What a pro! Look at this. He is he is a pro faux show.
Yes, he is.
As are we, bro. We are bro pros faux show. Anyway, so this is. I just want to this show. My idea for today's show, because when I guess Graham, when you first started the Brofessionals and we all put it together, you guys started it. I think was it supposed to be like an instructional thing or talk about our creative process and all?
No,
Oh,
it could
okay.
be anything. You could do favorite movies. Doesn't
I
matter.
did Star Trek.
Yeah, he did Star
Oh,
Trek.
nice. All right, so we'll have fun with this one.
Yeah.
Because I want to say what kicked it off for me today, and dang it, Fraga, we missed Fraga, but maybe Art, you can explain what happened here. Let me go into my I have to switch brands here, so let me do that. And this is our first. This is what kicked it off. Of you Art meeting Jack Kirby, and being photobombed by Fragaboom right there.
Look at Dan. He knows exactly what he's doing in this picture.
What's with you guys with ties? What's
I
the
know.
story behind this?
This is Eric Stevenson's wedding, his first wedding. Yeah. So there were a bunch of the Extreme Studios guys there. That's Mark Vasilla on the left. and of course Jack Kirby, me, and then Dan Frega doing the photo bomb. And I was just going through some old stuff. You know, we just moved into Texas, so you're unpacking and going through stuff. And I remember Dan said that he doesn't have any photographs of him and Jack Kirby. So, you know, since he wasn't feeling good today, I sent him this photograph. And I guess that started this little ball rolling here for this show. So we're going to talk about our favorite, or meeting, you know, some of our heroes.
Yeah, yeah, and you met the king. So all right, as we go on to that, and how was it? And I mean, first of all, Eric Stevenson and Jack Kirby to attend his wedding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Jack Kirby hung out like Extreme Studios and the Image guys. You know, even Stan Lee was kind of, you know, around. So, you know, we got their blessing on the whole Image thing. So that was pretty amazing.
Shut up. So you like Kirby hung around with you guys?
I met him on three different occasions, but yeah, it wasn't, I mean, he wasn't there all the time, but you know, he was there. And then if you look at that tribute book, what was it called? I think I have it here. The Jack Kirby Heroes and Villains.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Extreme Studios guys, you know, Image guys that are part of this. You know, McFarlane, Jim Lee, you know, Dan Frega, myself.
Hey, I got something in there, pal.
Do you?
Yeah.
And Andy Smith, of course. Yeah.
I got nothing in anything but my own books. He wants me. Son of a bitch.
And that's good enough, Billy.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. That is very cool. So I think we do a little round robin. We're not going to stay on long, maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour, because the stories can get kind of funny and all. And but how was Jack? Art going in?
Jack's awesome. Jack is not only a master storyteller in the pages of a comic book, but that man knows how to just tell a story. And I remember him telling me a story. I think it was a San Diego Con before, you know, the photograph. That was the last time I met him. But early on, and he was talking about the war. And and one of the things he told me, and I still remember it, he goes, always make it real. He goes, it doesn't matter what it is, make it real. It could be Galactus, but find something that connects in a real way to the, you know, general public. And so I always remember that. So no matter how super fantastic things are, try to anchor them in some way that will connect and resonate with, you know, your audience. Yeah. And so I remember that. And then I'll try to make it quick, but it was Christmas. It was Christmas Day, and he was. This is the Second World War, and so they were in like a barn, he said. And so they're kind of, and the Nazis are on the other side, and they're just kind of, you know, exchanging back and forth. I guess it's all about turf and trying to gain ground. And so it was Christmas, and he said the amazing thing is, like, the humanity was still there. They had a ceasefire, and they hung out and shared rations and stuff. And he said one of his guys, their boots were worn out. And I remember my dad fought him, where he said the main thing you want to do is you want to keep your feet dry, and you want to keep your shoes in good shape. And so he said one of the Nazis, the soldiers, had an extra pair of boots and gave it to one of the American soldiers. So I
wow,
great, yeah. And then the next day they were trying to kill each other again.
Yeah, and then they went right back to killing. A lot of killing.
Yeah.
Incredible. That's incredible.
Sorry.
Way to bring the house down.
I thought that was a pretty amazing story, but I guess not, Graham.
No, it is. It's freaking amazing.
Jack was in the infantry, and the interesting thing, you know, Jack was Jewish. So you just imagine at that time during the war there, you know?
Yeah.
You know, the Germans with the rampant anti-Semitism, with the Holocaust, with, you know, all that crazy stuff. And I mean, what a tough son of a bitch. I wish I got to meet him. I think Jack passed away on Valentine's Day, 1994, because I remember I was just putting sheet number 1 together, and I was going to San Diego that year. You know, I think I booked a booth or something in small press, and my goal was like, I'm going to meet Frank Frazetta and Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. I know I'm going to meet these guys. And then he had passed away, and it was just like, oh, so close. Yeah. So that's what a blessing. What a blessing you got to meet him.
Yeah, definitely.
Well done, Professional. Cool. Well done.
That's cool.
All right. Speaking of next, I got a little story. We got a little image here. If I can post it, Biggie G up there. Why don't you tell your story about meeting this icon, this great man, this American hero?
Stan the man.
Tell us that, and very nice how this set up. Actually, I wish we all did that because that's really great. I think I'm going to do that for mine now too. But please,
that was at Rhode Island. The Rhode Island Comic Con. I guess 2 years. It was the year after Stan's wife had passed, and 2 years before Stan had passed.
It was 2 years and 1 day before Stan Lee passed away.
Yeah. And they were doing the promoters wanted to do a kind of a thank you to Stan, and they started to talk to all the guests that were there. Anybody that had worked at Marvel, they asked to come up on stage and greet Stan. And it was this huge crowd of people of professionals that to go up on stage.
I was there.
Yeah, I know you were.
Yeah.
And we all got to go up and meet Stan and present him with a gift. This was a poster I gave him. And signed it and stuff. And this is when I got to meet him. And it was I didn't know I was going to do it that day. I didn't realize he'd be wearing a Batman shirt. I didn't realize he'd be wearing a Batman shirt, to kind of like, fuck you, Stan. Mr. DC, I didn't plan it that way, but he even commented on the shirt.
That's something. And that's something.
So funny. But I got to meet most of my heroes. The only ones I didn't get to meet, I got to meet Jack also, the year before he passed. And I got to meet Jim Aparo and Johnny Ramita.
Oh yeah.
There you go, buddy. Very
good.
Graham.
Now, Ramita was the first artist I recognized, the first guy whose work I was like, wow, I really, really like this guy's work. And back a couple of years before this, I did a prestige book for Marvel DC, and it was a Batman Spider-Man book. And it had the Kingpin in it. And when I drew Spider-Man and the Kingpin, I drew them in Ramita style. When I drew Batman and his characters, I drew it in my style, and married the two together. And this is San Diego Con 1997, and I was sitting at the DC booth signing stuff, and then Chuck Dixon came up to me and said, "Hey, Ramita just sat back down at his table." I'm like, "Oh." So I excused myself from everybody who was standing at my thing. I said, "I'll be back." And I got in line. I got in Ramita's line and waited through and waited for my turn. And I introduced myself. I just said, John, I'm a huge fan. And, you're a big inspiration for me. I introduced my name. And he looked at me and he said, "Are you Graham Nolan, the artist?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "I love that Batman Spider-Man book you did."
Cool.
That's cool.
Nice.
Wow.
God,
my idol had seen my work and liked it, so that's when I sat down. I said, "Can I come around?" He goes, "Yeah, come on, let's get a picture." So I came around and Chuck Dixon took that picture.
Ain't that something? Boy, I bet you had a few pops after that, huh?
Oh man, I was like, I was flying.
You get it, right? Yeah, let's go to the bar.
I said to him as I got up, I said, "I can retire now."
That's great. Yeah, and again, another example of someone being, because of course, as I said, we're going to meet with. We've been so fortunate because there are really cool people in the industry, and there are some dickheads in the industry, and but we'll get to that too. And if you guys have any bad experiences too, I'd like to hear it. Someone had mentioned, and I don't know if this is Art's story, but someone had mentioned, I think it was Art's. I don't think it's Aaron's, but who ran across Gene Simmons?
I met him a few times, but he wasn't a dickhead. He was cool.
Oh, really? Okay, because I met him. He was a dickhead.
Oh.
And he hit on my wife. This is at San Diego, 1994, and she's. I think she's doing something. Dad.
Yeah, but that's the ultimate compliment when Gene Simmons comes onto your wife.
Yeah, but he was like a lizard. He just looked like he was very certain. We were young, we're in our 20s, and he's like, and what do you do? And she's like, I'm with him.
Yeah,
and he was just all over her. It was just, oh my God, what a weirdo. So then this is why I brought it up, because my train of thought, Graham, is that we were hanging out. So this is my life in comics, is that my first San Diego Comic-Con, I'm hanging out because I had met John Ramita Sr. Then John Ramita Sr. liked me because John Tartaglione, the longtime inker at Marvel artist, was my mentor. He's my best friend John's dad. So I call him Daddy-O, I called him. So then he introduced me to Ramita, and then of course John Ramita, we just hit it up. We just got along like peas and carrots. And then he introduced me to his son, who we love. I just love John Ramita, who's coming on your show. Biggie G, huh? You got John, you got JR?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice. So I got to get him on our show too. And I'm going to pay a super chat. Are you monetized yet? Can I give you a super chat yet?
Well, I am monetized, but the process of is going through now with AdSense. So I'm waiting for that stuff to go through.
Oh, okay.
So in a couple days, start throwing money Graham's way.
Yes, listen to Art. Hit those what are they called?
Super chats.
Super chats. Yeah.
You don't even know yet.
No.
You don't even know yet. So
make it rain. Make it rain on Graham Nolan's channel.
Yeah, make it rain. Make it rain like
rain on my
Gene
parade.
Simmons did at a strip club with Johnny Jr.'s money. So here's the story. So then they're like, "So we're going to a strip club. You want to go to a strip club?" And I'm like, "Mark Bagley's there." I think it was at Cabo Cabo. If anybody remembers Cabo Cabo at San Diego Comic-Con, that was that Mexican place right across the street from the train tracks. When you get out of the thing, you go across the train tracks.
Yeah.
That was the place. So
Is that where they have the donkey shows?
What's that?
The donkey shows?
No, it was in Tijuana.
That was another trip.
So
You got to go across the border for that one.
So John Ramita Jr. goes to a strip club with him, right? With Gene Simmons, and they're sitting there, and Gene's like, "We're gonna go to a strip club. We're gonna go to a strip club." So Johnny's like, "Yeah, we'll go. I'll go, sure." So Debbie was not letting me go. So oh well. So we come back and we see John Ramita, and he comes over to our booth the next morning. He's like, "You wouldn't believe what happened last night." And I'm like, "Oh my God, you and Gene Simmons at a strip club? What?" He wasn't married yet, John. I'm like, "What could have happened?" And obviously Gene Simmons wasn't married, at least in his mind. So he's like, so we get there, and this guy goes, Gene Simmons goes, like he went there. We all went when we all met him. Our eyes are like, saucers. You know what I mean? We're hanging out with Gene Simmons. Oh my God, we're kissing his ass, all that sort of thing. And Johnny comes back and the next day, and he's like, "That son of a bitch, that cheap bastard." He goes, "We go to the strip club, and Gene Simmons doesn't have any money."
Oh, because he's Gene Simmons.
Because he's Gene Simmons. So he goes, "You got any money? I don't have any money. You got any money I can borrow?" So Gene Simmons, so Johnny goes, "Yeah, Gene Simmons," and gives him $60 in singles. Rolled up, right? He's like, "Well, I got his, I got a couple, maybe got $100 or so in singles," and he gave 60 of it to Gene Simmons. So Gene Simmons takes the money from Johnny, and he's sitting there, and there's a stripper, and he goes to the stripper like this. He's like calling her like the big shot. You know what I mean? Like he's like
the big shot.
Did he stick his tongue out and go like that?
No. So she walks up to Gene. "Oh my God, Gene Simmons!" And he takes all of Johnny's money and he sticks it in her shoe, and he goes. Like, it's like, and, "Oh my God!" Like, and she was like, "Gene Simmons gave me this big wad of money." Fucking Johnny's money.
And they're just $1 bills. Yeah, they're just $1 bills. It's not.
They're $1 bills, but he has to be the big shot.
$1 bills that aren't his.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Anywho, so that's the dickhead story of the episode. But how about you, Gimpy?
Well, I'm kind of a little bit like Graham, being older than everybody except Art and Graham. I've had the opportunity to meet just about everybody. John Buscema, I was unable to meet, but Murphy Anderson, Stranko, Neil Adams, to go through the list. But the two guys that were the biggest influences on me growing up were Frazetta number 1, right? Of course, that's on everybody's list. And Bernie Wright was the other one.
Yeah.
And so I never got to meet Frazetta. I saw him the one year he was at San Diego, when he had his, you guys remember when he had his booth up and he was actually
it was 95. That's 95 it was.
Yeah. And so I went over to the booth with some other guys. We were kind of like looking at Frank in the back, but I never said anything to him. But Wrightson, I just absolutely idolized growing up. And the first year I met him, this is kind of a long and tragic tale, but the first year I met him was probably, I wasn't a pro yet, so it had to have been 88 or 89 at San Diego. And I had, had bought the hardcover, Frankenstein hardcover, right?
Yeah.
And went to a panel, which he was speaking at. And I actually got the little, I'll show you guys, got the little.
Hang on.
You can see the signature there. Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, I during the panel, I can't even remember what we were talking about, just different things. And I remember asking him about the movie The Howling, which had, if you haven't seen it, it's just full of Wrightson werewolves, and it's just a big Wrightson ripoff. And I had brought this up because he had done a poster called Moon Pool, which has this naked guy, scummy looking guy looking into the water, and the reflection's a werewolf looking back at him, right? And it's in a sepia tone kind of poster that he had made back in mid to late 70s. And I had asked, and I said, one of the actors in The Howling looks just like that guy in the, and did you have anything to do with that? And he goes, well, not officially. I mean, he had basically said he got no money, no credit, no anything, and they basically just ripped off all of his visual designs for that movie. But anyway, so that was the first time I met him, and I remember going up there and getting the book signed and just telling him, hey, thanks for all the art lessons, growing up. And as it turned out, it wasn't until 93 where I met him again, and I was at Motor City Con with a bunch of Ultraverse guys. So we were all there, I think, probably on an Ultraverse tour. And Chaykin was there in the bar and showed up. And I remember the first thing that Chaykin said to me, and this is when I first met Chaykin, is he said, oh, Aaron Lopresti, goes, so you're drawing sludge. And I went, yeah. He goes, yeah, that stuff doesn't suck. And I went, thanks.
That sounds like Howard.
Yeah.
I think that's a compliment from Howard.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit, and then Wrightson showed up. We sat there and and had drinks there in the bar and talked with Wrightson. And then I met him again at a Portland show a couple of years after that, and I actually went out to dinner with him and a couple other people. Hey, look at that! Someone's putting up.
That's Herrenberg. He's one of our PopXP heroes for sure.
I appreciate that.
You.
Also, I do have my own YouTube channel, and I need subscribers so I can get monetized like Graham.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I met him and talked to him at great length at this dinner party after the show. And so I'm thinking, yeah, me and Wrightson, we're buds now. And, my hero, I'm buds with my hero. And so I run into him again at a Seattle show, another year later or whatever it was, right? And the moral of this story is every time I ran into him, he had no idea who I was.
Oh, he forgot every time who you were.
I kept meeting him, and he kept forgetting me, which is just the most humiliating thing, right? This guy's your idol, right? And it's funny because he's the only pro that I've ever met who never remembered me, and he was the one I really wanted to remember me. But so I sat next to him just by happenstance. Our tables were next to each other in Seattle at one of Steve Miner's shows back in the day, and he had actually said something. He made some joke about. I'm sitting next to the great Aaron Lopresti or something like that. And I thought, he remembers me. He knows who I am, right? But, I have a banner up, right? So I'm sure And so he's sitting there. Somebody come up and asked him to do a sketch, right? So he starts drawing this, and I'm looking at it upside down, okay? But I am such a Wrightson honk that he's basically drawing this thing, and it looks at first like a bat. And the guy who's looking at the drawing is like, oh, I can't wait to see what it is. And I just blurt out because I go, oh, that's Karloff's Frankenstein. And he turns to me with this, if he could have had lasers shooting in his eyes and burned through me, he was just like, thanks for ruining it. I'm like, and because I had nailed it, he had just drawn the brow, and I knew exactly. And I was like, great. Now, he finally remembers me, and now he hates me.
Well, this is like meeting your hero, and this is like the good and the bad all mixed.
Yeah, and then
But the thing is, I met him 2 more times, and each time he had no idea who I was. And I would try to bring that up, like, hey, remember we had that conversation when he's just like blank stare, like he has no freaking idea who I am. And the last time I saw him was in at San Diego, and he was at his table, and I went up there to say hi. And I wasn't thinking, because when other professionals that you don't see that often will come up to your table at a show, you can't read their name tag, right? Because they're too far away. But you've got a huge banner behind you. They know who you are. And it's like, hey, Aaron, how's it going? And you're like, hey, you look familiar to me, but I don't know who the heck you are. And I did that to Wrightson, but of course we'd met. We'd been out to dinner. We'd gone to cons together. I figured by now he's got to remember me, right? No clue. I start talking to him a little bit, and he looks down, turns away, starts talking to the guy next to him, and I'm standing there like, one of the fans that come to your table, and they, no offense to you guys out in the audience, but there's a time when the conversation's over and it's time for you to leave, and you don't. That's a bad habit. You need to move on when the conversation's over. There, and we were talking a little bit, and then he just kind of turns away and starts talking to the guy next to him, and I am standing there for about 10, 15 seconds, realizing this conversation is over. He has no idea who I am, and I am not going to stand here for 5 minutes hoping that he turns and talks to me again. So I just sort of skulked away into the shadows, and that was my last experience with Wrightson. So, but I do have the signed book, so
there you go.
That was I did meet Murphy Anderson in the elevator at Marvel Comics, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that is cool.
Because I was leaving, or I might have been coming up, and he was leaving. I don't know. But anyway, we were in the elevator together, and I knew it was Murphy Anderson. He looked like, I thought, oh, God, is that Murphy Anderson? But I think he might have still had his Marvel name tag. Remember those stickers they used to give you to let you in the office with Spider-Man on it, Marvel, and you'd write your name on it?
No.
I was you never stuck in, obviously.
Never got past the door. No.
I usually don't do that. I'm not a big celebrity hunk in that way. I don't like to disturb people out of their element, but I was able to say hi, and what I appreciated his work, and, Spectre, and, going way back, and he was very nice and very kind to me in the elevator in our brief meeting. But that was the Wrightson story. That if I could only tell one, that's the one. But I have actively sought out to meet guys that I idolized growing up, and become friends with, like Simonson, Plug, Jim Stranko, guys like that. And they all remember me, but not Bernie.
The one that mattered. The one that mattered did not remember you.
And I did meet Jack at his birthday party at San Diego.
Oh.
Was that 93 that they had that big birthday party? He had a big cake in one of the rooms, on the upper rooms of the convention hall.
Don't know.
I don't know. We weren't invited.
Image guys.
Not even Art.
We were at the strip club with Billy.
Dude, I walked by. The door was open. I walked by, and there was a bunch of people in there, and there was cake. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going in here. And I walked in, and there's Jack standing by this cake, And I'm like, well, it must be his birthday. And so I said, happy birthday, and what a big fan I was, and all that kind of crap. And then that was it for that. But
we were all partying with Wrightson that night.
Yeah. Where were you?
We had a ball,
right?
But Bernie loaned me $60.
We walked in. He goes, right on, Billy.
My boy. That's a good one, my boy. God, Gil Kane.
Yeah. Boy.
That's great.
Steranko remembers me and treats me, and he's old, Yeah,
he shakes your hand, right?
He's old.
See how but he's tough as nails, that guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's made of iron.
He runs up his Pennsylvania hill with his dogs every day.
Who's that?
Steranko.
Yeah, he lives near Pittsburgh, and he runs up these hills with his dogs.
Oh, wow.
He's 80 years, 80, 81, 80?
Yeah, he's got to be.
He's in his 80s. I know that.
He still has a great head of hair, too.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
He is a wonderfully personable guy and has great stories.
Tim's great.
He is.
He's a dapper dresser, indeed.
Oh yeah, he's slick.
I was up till 2 a.m. I was ready to fall asleep. We're sitting in the hotel lobby talking about movies and music and stuff. And I'm like, finally, I got to go to bed, Jim. You know, I got to get up for the show the next morning. He goes, oh, okay. You know,
You wimp.
well, of course, I was drinking, and he doesn't drink. So
Yeah.
by 2 a.m, I was wiped out.
Yeah. It's almost like you got to avoid him because you'd be like, Graham, come here. And then you're there for 2 hours. But it's not like it's 6 o'clock in the evening you see him. You see him at like 12 o'clock when you're stumbling back to your hotel and trying to find your bed.
And he wants to tell
He's
you
operating on
about
Steranko
London album.
Yeah, he's operating on Steranko time. That's not our time.
Yeah, it's true.
Franco's world, man. We're just squirrels trying to get a nut in it.
I like that.
Here's a question. Were any of you guys in San Diego 87, 88 when someone ripped off Kirby's Lifetime Achievement Award?
I was there, but I didn't know that happened. I was at that.
I was there, and I have a box that may or may not have the award in it. You figured it was the way I was
All
going
right, well, and Art, thank you for your meeting your hero moment, and then you robbed him. Well done.
The statute of limitations.
How about you, Andy? What you got? Any good stories?
You know, kind of like everybody else. You know, I never met Kirby, never met Buscema. I did meet Steranko at an airport. We're, you know, waiting for a flight, and we talked, and well, he talked, and just basically, well, he just talked about working with Stan and the early days at Marvel, and he talked about his days of doing the escapism, you know, the escape acts and stuff, which I find that stuff fascinating. I mean, like you guys said, he's just so fascinating to talk to.
Yeah. We got to get him on our show, boys.
Oh yeah.
I've already asked him.
Oh, what'd he say?
Yeah. He was he's had a bunch of crap go on at his house, weather related and financial stuff at his place. So he was kind of under a lot of pressure, and he's got some deadlines on some things. So he hasn't, you know, he's not able to do anything like that right now. So
I had a really good time at a convention a few years back talking to Herb Trimp. It was the first time I ever met him. Trimpy, sorry, Herb Trimpy. First time I ever met him. Such a nice guy. He was just, you know, once again, I just asked questions like, what was it like working on, you know, the Hulk? And he was like, oh, you know, I just get the plot. And back then it was just get 3 to 4 pages a day done by early afternoon. And I could go take my biplane up because, you know, he had a biplane and stuff.
Yeah, he did. He had a steerman.
Yep. And he was real nice. I met George Tusca, you know, at a con, and he was a
cool. I never met Tusca.
Yeah. Oh man, he was a sweetheart of a guy. I didn't ask him about this, but there is a story in a book I read where, you know, back when he was in the studio, I don't know if he was in Eisner's studio, but he was in one of the studios. And I can't remember the artist he did it to, but he punched some dude out. Oh yeah, he got up. Dude was running his mouth, and he got up and he just decked the guy. Just knocked the dude out. Because, you know, Tusca was a big, tall dude, and you imagine 45 years ago, you know, what he was like in his prime.
Right.
You know? Same with Trimpy for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a big man too.
Yeah. And then I guess the only, you know, obviously Joe Hubert I met when I interviewed for the Hubert School, which was, you know, intimidating, but that is definitely meeting one of your heroes for the first time one-on-one as he's looking through your portfolio. And I went, I grew up in Maryland, so we want to see, or my parents want to see where they were sending me. So instead of doing a phone interview, we drove up and sat in his big office in the old Dover High School, because that's where it was when I attended. And, you know, at his big conference table as he looked through the portfolio, and had a really good conversation with him and stuff. in my third year of the Hubert School, I met John Ramita Sr. because he came by to look at portfolios, and he was once again, all these guys are like just really nice, really, really gracious, except when you meet Neil Adams and show him your portfolio, which I did as well.
Yeah, I did too.
I did that my third year of the Hubert School. I went and visited continuity, and Neil's. I mean, now that I've seen him like once a year, he's definitely, once he gets to know you and you're a professional, his tone changes. But when you're trying to get in and he's looking at your portfolio, man, he just rakes you over the coals. The
thing is that Neil always calls Andy Aaron Lopresti for some reason.
Right. I know.
It's weird. Yeah.
I know.
He remembers you, but he remembers you as Aaron Lopresti.
Yeah. And so I remember being in like a meeting room in continuity, and I think his daughter was in the room as well. And, Neil was tough but fair. He'd point things out and, tell me work on certain things, whatever. The only thing that was weird was his daughter was getting in on the critique. And at that point, I'm thinking to myself, what is it you do? I mean, I know you've colored stuff for, you color some stuff, but besides that, what? Why are you in the room? What? And, but, I think it was a compliment. And at the end of it, because Neil basically handed me a 5-page script and was like, if one of the things, not verbatim, but it was basically like, if you got the stones to try this, work this up and bring it back, and we'll see, we'll go from there. And I didn't have to, because I got a gig at DC a couple weeks later, but it was nice because I don't think, from what I knew, he would do that. He would hand a script out like that all the time. I don't know, maybe he did, but.
So it was like a sample. Is that what he wanted you to do? Like, for work?
Yeah, he wanted to see, he was basically like, here's a script, work stuff up, bring it back, and let's see.
Yeah.
And I would have, but at the time I already made a trip to DC like a week or so before. And then after that meeting, about a week or two later, I went back up to DC with Bart, because Bart was the one that got me in, because he was delivering pages to Andy Helfer.
Wait, I have to ask you something, going back to the Neil Adams thing. Was it a Neil Adams script that he gave you?
It was a continuity script. I don't know if he wrote it.
I don't even know what that would be like an actual plot by Neil Adams.
Yeah, I don't know if he wrote it. I know it was an issue of it was an issue of Armor. So I know that. It might have been Peter Stone. I know he wrote a lot of stuff.
Because
it was full script.
If you still had the script, I would love to
think back, Andy. Think back. Was his phrase, "See if you can make this work"?
No.
See if you can make sense out of this.
No, it wasn't. I remember. I got it. Honestly, I actually remember the splash page, because it was like the first 5 pages, and the splash page was just. It was typical for the continuity stuff. It was Armor, and he was in an alley or something, fighting 4 or 5 guys. And then I don't remember the pages after that. I know it was Fight Continues and whatever, but it was full script. I might have it somewhere in a box.
Man, if Neil Adams wrote that, I would love to read it. That would be.
I doubt it. I don't think he did.
You still have it like in a file cabinet or something anywhere? You guys
might have it in a box.
You guys have your file cabinets with all your reference still?
Yeah. I don't have it anymore. I used to.
Yeah.
I was on the tail end of that, because in the Hubert School, we were told to keep a morgue and build it up and have a folder and label the folders, cars, this type of clothing, whatever. And we all had, and one of our teachers, that was part of the assignment, was to go through the year. And by the end of the school year, he wanted to see what we all built up as our morgue files. So I remember doing that. I remember still building it up after graduating and working, just started working and whatnot. but I didn't really keep up with it. And then it was like 96. I broke in 91, and it was like 96. I got a computer, and it was new, but a lot of the stuff was just so much easier to find. So
there's no need for it now. The internet is so amazing. Yeah, you get reference.
But you hear guys like Jerry Ordway who do have like just immense files of stuff.
Well, he bought that. What's that one book that everybody used?
Oh, Fairburn.
The Fairburn system.
Fairburn,
yeah. It was weird because I remember reading. There were 3 different comics that came out the same month, and I remember it was Sienkiewicz, it was Jerry Ordway, and some other artist, and they all used exactly the same shot. And you're like, oh, the Fairburn system. You see all the same shots.
What book is that? I'm not familiar with that book. What book is it?
Oh, it was a photo reference book. It was called the Fairburn system. I think John Beatty had it too, because I shared a studio with him in the early 90s. It was basically a big reference book. It was big. It was almost 11 by 17, wasn't it? It was like a big book.
It was different books.
Right. There were volumes of them, and one might be men's faces with like different lighting and different angles and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. You can probably find them on eBay.
Yeah, and it would be the same actor or the same model, and they would shoot it from all kinds of different angles, so you could get multiple angles of the same face. And if you look at a lot of Jerry's stuff early on, there's a lot of Fairburn stuff from there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wrinkles, like the clothing, because they'd have guys dressed in suits and stuff and various clothes. So in motion, so that you could get all the wrinkles and all that stuff.
It was all black and white too, right? If I remember correctly. And I think they were green, a greenish cover, maybe.
I never saw the book. I just knew of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I've seen it.
Brofessionals, an upcoming Brofessionals episode.
There you go.
Behind the Fairbairn.
So, Billy, are we now on our tragic meetings of heroes?
Yes, Art, do you have a tragic meeting with a hero?
Perhaps I do.
Do tell our friend. Please do tell. G's got a photo queued up, so we'll get to you too, and then I'm going to share some stories myself. But
all right, I have a photo. Okay, let's see if I can share this. Okay, yeah, it is a most beloved actor actually who plays a very beloved character.
Oh,
Lou,
boy,
Big Lou.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, did he charge you for that picture?
Not yet. I'm sure he's gonna try.
The bill's coming.
Yeah, the thing is, okay, so this is Wizard World. I think you were there at that show too, Billy. It was in Texas somewhere. I think it was Dallas.
Okay.
And Neil Adams was there, and God, who else was there? There was a lot of people there, but I know that
is that like 10 years ago, 2008, 2009, maybe.
Yeah, it was a while ago, and so Lou was there, and so I had signed a deal with Wizard World to do several shows, like contract kind of thing, and so I guess they felt like to get their money's worth, they would have me do promotional stuff. So. Actually, it was Dallas. It was Good Morning Dallas or something like. No, it was Good Morning Austin. It was in Austin. So it was Good Morning Austin, and so it was the morning show, and they had me and Lou Ferrigno go and do some publicity stuff on this morning show. And so everything's above board, everything's fine. Get in the limo. Lou's already in the limo. We go to the studio. Everything's cool. Hanging out with Lou. Lou's talking like very personal about like family. Family's important. This is my family. How's your family? Blah blah blah. So I was thinking like, wow, everything I heard about Lou being an asshole is not the case. He seems like a very sweet, caring guy. Because his reputation, the picture pirate thing. He gets irate. People take
he's awful.
Yeah, he's crazy. And so then I'm thinking like, oh my gosh. So I let my guard down. I'm like, Lou's a great guy. And so then we get at the show. We're doing the show. And so the only thing I had to offer is I'm an artist. So I start drawing the Hulk, because I'm here with Lou, and so I'm going to draw the Hulk. So we're sitting there. There's the host. She's in a chair, and Lou and I are on the couch, but Lou is closest to her. So Lou's kind of being Lou. he's very standoffish. He's very kind of like abrasive. And so then after a while, she stopped talking to him.
This is during the interview? Is this during the on TV?
Yeah,
Wow.
This is the live show. Yeah. So then she's actually leaning past him and talking to me. And then she's like, so what are you doing? And I'm drawing, the Hulk and stuff like that. And then she goes, well, let's see what you're doing. And so I held it up. I go, it's the Hulk. And then Lou goes, that's not the Hulk. I'm the Hulk.
The dickhead.
Yeah, he got all jealous for the drawing. And so then, smash cut, the show's over. And so I had my whole dog and pony. I'm showing artwork and stuff. So I had it all on the couch. But I told myself, like early in my career, I never took pictures with anybody. So I have no proof of all these cool things that happened. So I told myself at this stage in my life, I'm going to take pictures of everything. I don't care if I'm like that geeky guy that's taking pictures. So I had my camera. I asked one of the people, like the cameraman or something like that, if he could take a picture of the host, Lou, and myself. So I knew this was going to drive Lou crazy, but I needed the photo, right? And so I was prepared. If he was going to ask me to pay for it, I would pay for it. But anyway, so snaps the picture. The next thing I know, everybody in the place wants a picture of the three of us. So then everybody's like, could you take a picture? And they're using my camera. Can you send it to me? Blah, blah, blah. Here's my email. So Lou is steadily getting more and more and more irate. Like you could just see like the body language.
He's seeing $40 every with the snap of the finger. That's $40 out of his body.
Yeah, he's just getting pissed. So as soon as he could get out of there, he did. So I saw him leave, but I just figured he'd go to the car and sulk, right? Because the limo was out, was going to pick us up and take us to the show, to the Wizard show. And so I didn't think anything of it, but then I started getting this weird vibe, like I think he's pissed. I'm not sure what he's capable of doing. So I had to run back, get all my artwork together. And so then I went out, I ran out the door, and it's one of those doors that have like automatic closing. As soon as I went out, the car drove off, the door slammed closed. I can't get back in the theater into the studio. It's freezing cold in the middle of Austin. I have no idea where I'm at.
And he left you.
He ditched me. Yeah.
He had the limo driver take off on you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was fucked up, man. Because like I don't carry a cell phone either, so I had no way to call the promoter, Garib's brother, I forget his name. I had no way to do anything. So, I knew that there was a camera in the front of the building because you can't even knock on the door. It's one of those armored doors, right? So I walked in the front, and I'm just like looking at the camera. I'm like, hey, let me in. So then you hear eep, and so they let me in. And so then I talked to the security. I'm like, I got, blah, blah, blah. Can I make a phone call? Because I did have the number for, I forget which Seamus it was. And hey, and so I call up and I say, hey, Lou ditched me at the studio here. And they go, oh, well, yeah, we'll bring a car around. So I'm just in that really weird place where you got to kind of bullshit for about a half hour, with a bunch of strangers. Like, yeah, that's how Lou is. He's just kind of this silly guy. And it's like,
oh, that's just Lou.
That's just Lou. Lou. Yeah, because they're going like, didn't he? He ditched you, right? And I'm like, well, Lou's Lou. So I don't want to say anything bad about him.
Oh,
so
I would have been like that motherfucker.
I do now.
Next time you watch Pumping Iron, you'll get a bigger kick out of when Arnold fucks with Lou. And that it's so great.
Exactly.
Yeah, he gets into his head into his old man's head too. It's so great.
So then, just to wrap it up, okay. So I get in the limo. It's the same driver, and he goes, oh, I'm so very, very sorry. Blah blah blah. I go. You got to be honest with me. I just need to know. It's no harm, no foul, but. He told you to drive off, right? He goes, yes. And then I just logged it away. I I didn't say it out loud. I just go, Lou's a dick.
He's a dickhead.
That's my Lou Ferrigno meeting one of my idols. As a kid, I grew up on the Hulk. Bill Dixon, and that was Lou.
What if it had been Lou and Gene Simmons in the limo? What would have happened then?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Gene Simmons knows who I am, so Gene's always really cool when I meet him. So he's always like, "Hey, RT Barrett," he gives me a hug and stuff like that. So I don't know. I want to believe that Lou wouldn't treat, or not Lou, but Gene wouldn't treat me like that.
Oh,
I want to believe that.
All right. Well, what a dick. All right. So, all right.
Hey.
So let's circle back to you want to do the Bold and the Beautiful first or Biggie G?
No, I was going to say, Billy, if you want, I found the Fairburn books on eBay. If you want to share my screen,
Yeah, let's do that. Oh, there
they
you
go.
How much are they?
This set right here is $350, but there's a bunch more that are singles, like, so you can
cool.
see there's tons of them. But yeah, so I said they were green, so these are the ones I saw that John Beatty had, those green ones.
Okay.
And so there was a time when you was it you saying, Art, that the 3 comics came, or Aaron, the 3 comics came out and they by 3 different artists and they all use the same panel from one of the books.
Yeah, it was a go-to in the industry. So, one of the things you didn't want to do is you didn't want to swipe from like magazine covers or anybody that was too famous, because then they could definitely call you on it.
Yeah.
But the Fairburn system was considered fair game. Like you could take the Fairburn system.
Well, Rich Buckler swiped from Neil Adams and everybody else and didn't seem to mind.
Kirby.
Yes.
That's another upcoming Brofessionals, the swipe file.
There you go.
There we
So
go.
yeah, so here it is.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I
Yeah.
bet you could use that now because if no one uses it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Watch all of our next books with this. They all look the same. All 5
Hey,
of us.
page 48, page
We're all
62.
thinking, I gotta get that dang book.
There you
Oh,
go.
man, we got a Dino right here. It's a Caligula. Yeah, fuck you.
Oh yeah, screw that guy. Like I was even born
That's
yet.
great. All right,
Whatever.
so let's go to Biggie G because Biggie G loaded up something,
Yeah.
and I can't see what it is, but Biggie G, you want to tell this story?
Yeah, that's the
Hey,
Rifleman.
Chuck Connor.
The rifle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Iron Jaw.
He
Yeah.
was one of my heroes, and I was at he was, Chuck Connors was a 2-sport guy before he became an actor.
He played baseball, right?
He played baseball for the Brooklyn Dodgers, and he played basketball for the Boston Celtics.
Did he
Oh, I
really?
didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Wow.
He's also the first guy credited with breaking a backboard.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chuck.
This guy was
the
Tell the story.
6'6".
You meeting Chuck Connors, dude.
Oh, it was awesome. He and I were guests at a Niagara Falls show. It was a baseball card and comic book show, and he was there as a sports guest, not as the Rifleman per se. And so Ted Haynes, who ran the shows, had a dinner for all of us, and I sat right next to Chuck.
Dude.
And we talked all night long, and we kicked it off because he's a lifelong Republican conservative guy.
Nice.
And so we really hit it off. So I'm asking him about working in the big country with William Wyler, and I had Gregory Peck and Charlton Heston in it. And and I said to him, I said, what was it like, working on that film? I mean, I know Gregory Peck is leans a little bit more to the left, but how was it working with Heston? Because he's a conservative too, right? And he looks at me and he goes, Heston's no conservative. That's what he said. He said he's no conservative. So one of his first movies was he got his first job from John Wayne, Chuck Connors. So I said, well, what about the Duke? And he looks at me and he goes like this. He goes, the Duke was the real deal. I mean, he looks down. He looks down at me and he goes, the Duke was the real deal.
That's badass,
Wow.
bro. That is
It
badass.
was so cool. So we're having dinner that night, and there's a bar that's connected to the restaurant, and there's this woman in the bar keeps staring at him, and we're up against a wall. We got a big table in front of us, and so this woman comes stumbling out, and she goes, Chuck Connors, I love you. I've watched your show and everything. I want to kiss you. And Chuck looks at me and he goes, all right. And he stands up and he goes to kiss her, and she's missing a tooth.
Oh,
And this woman, he goes to give her a little peck, and she shoves her tongue right down his throat, right across the table.
Oh my god.
He it comes off like this, and he goes, "God damn it! I think she bit me." Oh my God, he was the coolest guy in the world. So at the show the next day, I show up with my 30-30 Winchester, the real deal. And I bring it to them. Security let me through, because I showed them it wasn't loaded or anything. And this is pre 9/11. So he's sitting at his table there, and I go, dunk, and I stick it down there. And he looks up at me and he goes, "Oh my God, I don't think I've ever signed a real Winchester." He signed kids, rifles and stuff like that. And this was an actual 30-30 Winchester, and I still have it. I still have it.
And you had, so he signed it with like a Sharpie or something?
Yeah.
Where did he sign, on the stock?
Right on the stock.
Wow.
Right on the
Nice.
stock. You want to see it?
Yeah. Heck yeah, I want to see that.
Chuck Connors. How about that?
Let's make him big.
I keep waiting, Graham.
Oh, damn.
Oh, look at that.
Wow. Yeah.
That is awesome.
I keep waiting for him to screw you over or say something negative.
That is awesome,
No,
dude.
in fact, I was sitting at my table signing stuff, and I guess he had a break or something, because I'm sitting there and all of a sudden these big meat hooks come down on my shoulders, and I turn around and I look up, and it's him there, and you look at that grin on his face, and he looks over and he smiles at me and he goes, "You goddamn Republican." Oh man, we really hit it off.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
That's great. I wish it was the show when Graham had a crowd of people around him. It was at that very same show with Stan Lee. It was
Classic.
And I walk by, and there's this crowd around Graham. He's sketching and he's talking, and I just walk right by and I just say, "Zip it, hippie." And he's just losing it.
I look up and I'm like this, and do you ever see Blazing Saddles, where Harvey Korman is walking into the movie theater towards the end of the thing, and he yells something to somebody, and he's walking by really fast? Well, that was Billy. He's walking by really fast. He goes, "Zip it, hippie," and he's on his way to the bathroom. And I look up and I see him with that big shit-eating grin of his.
I love it because he knew exactly what the shirt and everything with Reagan did. I knew you just went, "Ah!"
Yeah, I started cracking up.
Oh, good times. Well, I'm going to share something too. If I may, let me figure out how to do this right now. I'm gonna take Chuck off. Though, salute, sir. All right, let me share my screen. Let me make this bad boy work. It's over here. All right, so let's hit it. Let's see. There you go. All right, let's see if I can make it bigger. That's me and Debbie with Frank Frazetta.
Yeah.
By some grace of God, loved me. Frank loved me. We hit it off. I'd met him, Aaron, at that San Diego Comic-Con. He's not here right now. That he was at San Diego in 1995. Me, Joe Jusko, and hey, buddy.
Hi.
Say hello.
Hi. I was young in that picture.
Yeah.
But not young anymore.
Yes, you were.
We were all young in that picture.
We were all young in that picture. Yeah. That's 2007 at the Diamond thing. And man, speaking of a Republican, that's exactly what he was. A super conservative guy, and we just hit it off like that. And he gave me his home phone number, and I would go visit him. I took Jimmy Palmiotti to go see him. I took Joe Quesada to go see him. Jamal Igle to go see him. Me and Sasso went to go see him a couple of times, and just the stories. And I got him to do a cover. I'm like, I'm going to ask him to do a cover for me. So I call up and talking to Ellie. No, I think I was over there. I'm like, would you do a cover for me? And Ellie's like, well, how much you paying? I'm like, well, what do you want? And she goes, I don't know. How's $4,500 and you can get the art. You can have the art too.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
He's like, really? He's like, yeah, we love you. I'm like, oh, yeah. So I got Frank Frazetta to do the cover. I remember everybody came after me after that. How the hell did you get Frank Frazetta to do the cover? I'm like, I asked him.
That's awesome.
He would call me. You talk about Steranko. You get, when you find Jim Steranko late at night, and that's it. You're there for 2 hours. Yeah. And you can't leave Steranko, even though you're like falling asleep because you get, like I said, you got a few pops in you, And he would call me, and I remember one time he called up and like, ring, like picked up. I'm like, hello. He goes, hey Billy, it's Frank. I'm like, Frank who? Frank who? Frazetta, what the fuck's the matter with you? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. That was a great night, wasn't it, honey?
Yeah.
That was great. So that's
a good night.
Yeah, and that's all about meeting one of your heroes and just being a great guy. He really was. And I love his family, and I got reconnected with Holly's daughters and with Sarah Ann, if you guys know Sarah, and with just what a great family. Great family. Just
That's
great
so
times, great memories, and being very fortunate. And I got another one. Let me try. Oh, is Aaron back? Aaron, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Was that you talking about Herb Trimpe?
No, it's Andy.
That was me.
Andy, these are two of Herb Trimpe's French curves.
Are you?
Oh, that's nice.
After he passed away, his wife came around to a show for a bunch of us that had known him and all. And he was a member of the Aerodrome, Herb Trimpe, if you remember him, the tall guy. And she's like, well, I know he would want you guys to have some of this stuff because he loved you guys. He loved this industry. And she's like, what would you like? And I saw he had some I think I have a couple of pencils too that I want to give the Fragga if I could find them. They should be in here actually. And I'm like, can I have one of the French curves? And she's like, yeah, take two. So I got, and I use them.
Oh, wow.
Herb Trimpe.
I would frame those things. I would frame them.
Oh,
Yeah.
so who knows what he drew with these?
I would use them. I would frame those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't mess them, get them into your own stuff by mistake.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. I should write his name on it or something. But
Yeah.
the story about
we could put him in a shadow box.
yeah, we could. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would look good with like a black, like a dark background, and then they would stand out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I have you know how Herb went. Herb, tragically had a heart attack and passed away. But what he did was that he would run.
Mm-hmm.
And
He's a runner.
he ran at least 2 miles, maybe 5 miles. He was just he was 76, I think, 77 maybe, and he just ran. He liked to run. He was a runner. If you guys ever had met Herb Trimpe, he was in incredible shape.
Yeah.
Tall, lanky, he looked fantastic. So he came back from his run and he poured himself a glass of scotch. And he was sitting on his porch with his glass of scotch, and that's when he just must have just passed.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but that's there are worse ways to go, right?
Yeah, that's not a bad way to go.
Not a bad
Bam,
way
like
to go.
that.
He sort of went out with his boots on.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And then I have. Let me see if I can find. I'm going to share another screenshot.
You ever read Herb Trimpe's New York Times memoirs that were
I
published? in the
did
New York
because
Times?
of you.
Oh, okay.
No,
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah, I post them on Facebook every year on the anniversary of Herb's death. It's a cautionary tale that everybody in this business should read.
Don't run and drink scotch.
Well, there is that. Yeah,
Lord.
don't put your eggs in one basket, and it's a cutthroat business, and
Yeah.
there's no loyalty. That's the takeaway.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Great.
it's heartbreaking to see his day by day entries. He went into teaching, but he had an exclusive contract with Marvel, and they cut him loose. When they went into bankruptcy, there was no work for him. All the old guard was gone. Maurice Severin was the last one there, and there was just no work for him. And he would try and try and try, and nothing. And he eventually, he had to pay the bills, and he went back to school, got a teaching degree, and taught
Wow.
in the public school system.
Wow. Well, stick around here for this one, honey.
Okay.
I have another if I can share.
Yeah.
And you guys had mentioned him. I think, Aaron, you had mentioned Bernie Wrightson.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
apparently.
Bernie's another one. There's me, Jimmy with Bernie. I think it's Jimmy's birthday. Well, no, look at Jimmy's wearing some kind of shirt. I don't know what he's
Oh, I
doing.
have to ask you, Billy. Does Bernie know who you are, or did
Yeah, he loved me, right? He loved us, and we actually spent that week.
And his wife.
Yeah,
They're
That's just great. Thanks.
We spent. It was it the same year that Darwin was there? We did a small Las Vegas show. It was Bernie's and Darwin's last cons.
Yep.
Oh.
I was there.
No, Bernie was at my birthday party. It was after Darwin passed.
No, Bernie was at that Vegas con too, because I was there.
They
Yeah.
were
Oh yeah.
both at
Graham was at the Vegas con
yeah,
too.
they were both at that con.
And he
And
was
then we saw Bernie one more time.
at my birthday
Yes.
party. At our birthday, me and Jimmy. It was Jimmy's 55th birthday and my 5th birthday party.
50th.
And 50th. And he looked way better 9 months later at my birthday party. Remember? Because he was in real rough shape.
Well, at that point, knowing what I know about cancer, at that point, if they had already decided that they couldn't treat him anymore, he probably wasn't being filled with all that stuff.
Yeah.
The toxins of chemo and all that, they really do a job on you. So if he was at the point of a different treatment plan because the chemo wasn't working, then he would have looked better because it's not killing off part of your body while it's trying to treat cancer.
Right. Yep, absolutely. And then I have one more, if I may, and it's another Graham Nolan was there. If I may, Graham, we travel in the same circles. How come we haven't been pals for 25 years?
I know, right?
Times.
Hey, Aaron, did you notice how happy Bernie was hanging out with Bernie?
Well, Art, he's always happier when he's with people he knows.
Yeah,
That's right. He's not hanging with strangers.
So Aaron's hero is Bernie Rice, and then he met him like 10 times, and every time he met him, he didn't remember who he was.
Aww.
And the one time he did is when he was drawing a surprise sketch for someone, and then Aaron's watching. And then he goes, it's Frankenstein. It's Boris Karloff with Frankenstein.
Hey, Aaron, we kid because we care.
Yeah,
I know. That's okay.
It's all in love, brother. It's all in love.
A lot of people just like you. There's people that have Aaron Lopresti stories of the same thing. Other pros, actually.
Aaron doesn't remember who I am.
Remember them. I'm going to share one more.
I did that to somebody once. We've been
going on for an hour and 15 minutes already. I thought we were going to go 45 minutes, and this is a great subject matter, just a great theme for a show. But if I may, here we go. There you go. That was the same show, Art, that you were at, and it was Veterans Day. Oh. And what we did was I put together a thing through the American Legion with a presentation, and we surprised him at his panel on Friday night. And I came in there with probably 10 soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marine veterans, and we just gave him. I mean, he got a flag flown in his honor. Him and Joe Sinnott. We did the same thing for Joe Sinnott at dinner afterwards. Yep. And Navy guys, Army guys, and you got to tell it. And he was so broken up. He was the tears in his eyes, and he had said, aside from his daughter being born, it was one of the greatest moments of his life.
Wow!
And what he did for me, and that no one ever thanked him for his service. He said in World War II. Wow! That was the first time anyone ever thanked him for his service. So we gave him, like I said, the flag, certificates from the Army, certificates from the Air Force.
There be 15 people with different sorts of commendations.
Yeah, so from all across the country, all of the armed forces.
It was really a moving and amazing thing to see.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Involved with the armed services that was able to get any kind of a commendation, or like you said, a flag that would have been flown, or it was like rapid fire.
Letter from a general, from the general in charge of TRADOC. Yeah.
It was one person after another, and he was so visibly moved. It was really beautiful.
Yeah. And then he was a sergeant in the Army. And then the guy behind him, directly behind him, where you don't see, not the gentleman to the right of him, but to the left, is a captain. And he makes everyone and does, present arms, with a salute. Mm-hmm. And Stan's sitting there, and I'm sitting there saluting him like that. And he's looking at me. He's like, "What do I do?" I'm like, "Stan, a captain saluting you." And he turns around and he salutes him, and he turns to the crowd and he just gives this big salute, and everybody cheered, and it was great. It was one of the greatest moments of my career. It really was.
That's an amazing story. That is,
and it's just, and then that we were high as a kite that night. We then went to the Ric Flair bought us drinks because we're all in our uniforms, and then the Walking Dead guys came over, and then we went to a cigar bar. And what a good time. Good times, man. That was a great
That's awesome.
So anyway, this has been a great show, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Anyone else have any other stories, tall tales we want to share? Or
millions of them, but
Yeah, we could go on forever.
And I'd like.
There's so many great
Oh, I'm
artists
sorry,
that
I'm sorry.
remember me that I've got so many stories about guys that
That don't.
We could
remember him.
do
Yeah.
part 2. We could do part 2 on my show if you want next week. You know, we could go more into it. Yeah,
Sure.
I think that would be fantastic. And
I
then
got a great Jim Aparo story.
I love.
Ooh.
I think Jim Aparo is one of the most underrated artists in this industry. His Spectre run was fantastic.
I liked his Dead Man stuff too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. His Aquaman, you know, when he was in Adventure Comics. Then his short run on Detective with Archie Goodwin.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what? His Aquaman, he actually drew underwater environments and bubbles and like movement, like the dirt and ground would move. And I've never seen anybody draw Aquaman like he had.
and Aquaman's hair too, because he had it like high on the top, but shortly cropped. But the front part of the hair was always waving in the water.
Yeah.
It was so great. It was like motion, you know.
There's a lot of movement. Yeah.
well, guys, this has been. We definitely have to do this. We got some funny comments. I'm sorry, I was trying to find some things. Brian Blevins. That's a true story, actually. But I was hanging with Graham Nolan. I was liquored up. But I just want to say this was a great episode of the Brofessionals, and I'm also proud to say that this episode gets the Telly Savalas seal of approval.
There you go.
Who loves you, baby?
Who loves you, baby?
Look at that. Talk about heroes. Look at that stud, huh?
I wish I had a lollipop.
Who's better than him? Guys, you guys are great. I love you all. Everyone out there watching, thank you all for watching, tuning in to the Brofessionals. Who's hosting next week?
Yeah, next week I'm hosting. So we've actually gone a full circle round. So we've managed to hit everybody. And so I'll be next week. And if you haven't, like and subscribe my channel. I know everybody has a YouTube as well, but really just go to mine and like and subscribe.
That's right.
Is that how the good shows are?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I've had way too many. If we went another hour, you'd get some really loony art. Yeah.
Well, this might have to turn into a Friday night show then.
Going into the weekend.
We started like 7 p.m. Eastern time.
And just go.
No. We should do one called the Day Drinkers.
Day drinking.
There you go.
Day drinking. Then we start in the afternoon.
Yeah, what are you doing tomorrow?
You know what we could do? We could do like a 4-hour stream and just see how freaking wasted we could get.
Dude, everybody.
Oh my God.
We would get everyone to come onto the show.
I'd be the designated driver.
Yeah.
And then you can host it. You can host it, Aaron, because you'll be the only one. So
Even though I'm not drinking, I'll host it. I'm like Trump. I don't drink.
But it might be kind of funny that the guy that does host it
He'll be driving us around. He'll be driving us around. We'll be all like, "Who's our driver?
Yeah, who is that guy?"
Hey, Aaron, I'm starting to think right now you're already regretting telling that story.
I know.
So can we do day drinking hero episode, and that's when we can tell our stories? Or just day drinking. We just talk.
We just
right now.
it could be a
Do you guys want to plan for like next Friday night, the next Friday to do day drinking?
We could, yeah.
We can try.
I can't do it next Friday.
What are you doing tomorrow? You want to do tomorrow?
Wait. Wait a minute. I've got a live feed tomorrow. Aaron live with me drawing.
Yeah.
You guys cannot do that.
I got a 4 o'clock tomorrow.
All right, then maybe next Thursday afternoon. The hell with it. We do Thursday.
Oh yeah, Thursday.
Yeah, do it Thursday afternoon, maybe.
Day drinking next Thursday.
It'll just be Billy and I tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's okay.
All right, everybody. Well, stay tuned. Let's do the next day drinking on Art's channel. We started. What do you say? 4 p.m. Eastern time.
Well, I think we should make it a very special Brofessionals.
Like so special.
Yeah, like it'll be Friday, and then we'll start at like noon.
Okay, noon. All right, so that's got to be. So
It'll
that's
be on Aaron's channel.
Yeah, so that's noon your time, Art. That would be 3 p.m. for us on the East Coast.
No, he's in Texas. It's not.
Oh, you're
It's
Texas.
only an hour.
1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour.
Just
difference.
an hour.
Ooh, that works.
At noon your time, that's like what, 10 a.m. our time?
No, it's just an hour.
You have to get up early to watch us get really obnoxious on his live stream.
All right, so let's plan that, everybody. That's going to be a good one.
I can't do it next Friday though, because I'm closing out my campaign next Friday.
Yeah, you don't want to be asleep by 5 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, so the Friday after that.
Yeah, let's do it.
We can look at that. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, but next Thursday we'll be on Art's channel.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Well, different bat channel, same bat time.
Well,
All
it's
right.
8
I'm getting some messages. Let me see what JC Vaughn has to say here.
I think we started late tonight,
Yeah.
right? It's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock
Yeah.
Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I like the 8 o'clock.
All right. Yes. I just today was just a rough day for me, so I could.
Oh,
I
yeah.
could go a little late. And Niall was streaming too, simultaneously on the PopXP. Everyone out there, thank you for joining us. Please follow all there are links to the campaigns that are actively live for our guests right now. We'll also add that to it later on. You got, of course, there's the link here to follow Aaron Lopresti as well, and Andy is in there too. Guys, you guys were great. Thank you all out there for joining us. What a fun show. I love you guys. This is like a comic book convention, but we don't have to, sleep in a strange room.
With
So,
strange
all right,
people.
I think I'm going to let me do a little. I'll take us out here, and everyone have a good night, and we will see you next Thursday on the Brofessionals. So let me check
Bye.
that. Hang on, I got to fix that backdrop. I got the wrong bloody backdrop again. There
You're
we
like-
go.
You won't
And
leave.
hang on, I'm going to do a little video. Thank you all for joining us. And sorry, let me find the video. We got a lot of content on it. We got to get rid of it. All right, guys. Everyone have a great night. And tally ho.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on PopXP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the PopXP and over on Instagram at the PopXP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.